Like boom. We starting to record here, for the YouTube. Now I'm about to get us popping on Facebook real quick. Give me a second. All right, 3, 2, 1. We about to be live on the face with him. All right, well, we live and live in color, B, on the book. All right, y'all. So basically, it's your boy Trav back with Trade the Trends. Got my man Dustin Johnson on the line. Got him on the line, man. We started a conversation about a few weeks ago. We started talking about mental health, and the good thing about Dustin is he's actually been in the mental health field, working with children. I'm not sure the ages, but I'm gonna let him break that down in a second. So D, go ahead and tell us a little bit first about your mental health background.
Been in the mental health field about 5 to 6 years. Been a manager about 2 years in the mental health field. I've dealt with kids from all different types of walks of life, ages ranging from 6 to 20. I'm actually currently in a situation where I'm about to be working with adults soon. Kids in situations, substance abuse, sex offender children, younger sex offenders, older sex offenders, people that have disorder, where they diagnose them as conduct disorder, bipolar, schizophrenia, Asperger's. I've dealt with patients who have like 5, 6 different personalities. Some will have like 99 different personalities. One patient will go to their room and change their clothes and come out a different person. Every time they change their clothes, it's almost like a costume for them, but they believe that's who they are at the time. I've dealt with it all, man. Mentally impaired, a lot of it.
Yeah, and I can, like I said, I can only imagine kind of the things, people who this really impact, right? Because when we talk about mental health, we really talk about a few things to me, right? We think about, people being themselves, right? A lot of times people don't feel like they can always be themselves. And I feel because of the stigma of, the media, right? The social media, celebrities, a lot of times when I look online, I see so many people have a picture of like Beyonce and Jay-Z and this relationship goals, or a picture of somebody else said house goals, right? So it's almost everyone has goals, but they're never their own, if that makes sense. And I think it's important that we talk about how important it is really to find yourself, right? Not always trying to fit in, because I don't think we're all made to fit in. And I know you can really, get more detail on that, man, because I know you've also been able to go through the field, be able to coach high school, kids, at, Phoebus. And I know y'all came up short at States, but y'all had a crazy run, this year. So talk about, probably the things you've encountered with those kids about being themselves and things of that nature.
Well, this generation and every generation, as so to speak, it changes it's almost by the day now, but it changes like yearly. Like it's about perception, man. Nowadays, especially with social media being more involved in the world and, being so big, it's just about like a lot of these younger kids are worried about how they are being perceived, how the world views them, how they're being looked upon. So they really want to keep up with the Joneses. A lot see dirty. Nah, but
right.
Just that's a phrase that I old ones always came up and used, keeping up with the Joneses. But it's about a facade. And if they feel slighted in any type of way, they get a defense mode to where, it's almost like they drop their guard down and they lash out because they don't want to look slighted in no type of way. It's actually kind of dangerous, man, because a lot of them fall short of their goals because they don't get an opportunity to go where they want to go based upon the perception of other people. If a lot of them, if they really just stop caring about what other people think and chase their goals, then, they'll actually reach them goals. It's a phrase that's in the locker room in Phoebus, and it always stuck with me ever since I was playing. They said the reason why most people fail instead of succeed is because they trade what they want most for what they want at the time. And that's deep because, you know, when you live in those moments, those couple seconds can get you locked up or get you killed or get you hurt. You know, those few little moments could get a female pregnant or put you in a bad situation. She could call rape. She could, you know, but when you sit back and really focus on your goals, you know, you will realize that those things aren't even worth putting yourself through and giving that person that opportunity to bring that on you. See, when you reach certain goals, you know, you're at a certain place where people want to be there with you. And some people will do anything to either be there with you or keep you from getting there yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of these kids nowadays, especially with the dynamics of the father being more out the home, not being present, you know, everybody's based the kids, you know, how a kid is based upon how they look and what they can give them, how many shoes they have, their clothes, and versus, you know, how they operate, you know, how they carry themselves as far as character. We're not big on character with our kids like we used to be because the parents don't have high character. And I think it has an effect on our kids, not only them as people, but their mental health. So I think that alone is a big piece of it. You know, I just see that, like I said, coaching and then working with these kids, you know, they don't want to look a certain type of way. They don't want to, you know, feel like a punk or, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, when I was younger, I felt that kind of peer pressure, so to speak, from time to time. Maybe not as much as others, but just enough to keep me from my goals as well. So, you know, it's big, man. We definitely got to do better with that in today's society.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, it's all about conditioning, right? You know, as younger, I was the same way, you know, my parents, we ain't have all the money, you know, we dealt with, in our family, we dealt with drug abuse and domestic violence and different things. So, you know, I know I always went to school, you know, and I was the jokester. I was the funny guy because, you know, kind of really hurt so much a lot of times. So to release the pain, you know, I would pretend to be happy or to be funny so people wouldn't talk about the shoes. Like, I remember going to school, you know, at Achiever Dream, and I had those black Etonics. You know, we didn't get those black Adidas, Nikes, or anything I wanted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I had those Etonics, you know, and at that point I was chubby too. You know, I was an offensive lineman, right? You know what I'm saying? Look at me, man. And look at me now. I got kids, you know, I got kids spit up all on my shirts now, you know, but I didn't want to be perceived as, you know, the kid who didn't have anything, or, you know, look at his shoes, look at his clothes. He's wearing the same clothes and things like that. So that peer pressure definitely does impact how we look at it. But what happened to me is that, you know, I believe that what changed my mindset is after, and the crazy part, it didn't happen until after college, right? So a lot of kids now may not understand it. They may not come into their own very soon, but hopefully this message can get across and they can get to it sooner, where I just got to the point where I didn't care, man, because it didn't impact me. Your thoughts about me didn't put food on the table for me. It didn't impact my finances. It didn't do anything of that, you know, for me. So I just got to the point where I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like, because these people, they don't do anything for me. They don't add value to me, you know. So that eventually changed for me. And I just want to tell people that, you know, it's okay, you know, to want to be wanted or want to be loved, right? And really not know where it's going to come from. It's okay, you know, dealing with certain things. But guess what? People, you are valuable. You are loved, you know, and there are people that's going to miss you, you know, of course. And the whole thing is be yourself. And what got me to that way is I said, you might as well be yourself, because no matter what you do, somebody isn't going to like you anyway.
No matter what.
And Dustin, I remember, you know, you being a prime athlete at Norfolk State, you know, I heard, you know, people say, oh, Dustin, he work out too much. I'm like, how do you work out too much? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is he so positive? You know, I've heard things like that, and it's confusing. Not confusion, but it's frustrating and depressing to see people do that, and that's what keeps us, you know, in this barrel, you know, pulling each other down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
so tell me about a situation, or you probably experienced it. So tell me mentally, you know, how do you deal with bad days? Because when you talk about mental health and depression, you know, some of these people have more bad days than good days.
Well, we all wake up with not the best energy sometimes. I don't want to say negative energy, but sometimes we wake up with certain things in our mind, like, man, we got to go do this, we got to go do that. You know, sometimes the devil be working on us. So if you want to call those bad days, so to speak, I deal with those days by thinking about the worst of days that I had. The days where, you know, times was a lot worse. I didn't have the blessings that I have, whether it's my children or, you know, more opportunities to do better. I didn't have certain credentials to kind of help me get to where I need to go now. So, you know, the day I start off a little, my energy won't be the way it should be. But then through time, I sit back and like I said, I think about, you know, what I've experienced, what I've overcame, and think about my children, my loved ones, my homeboys. You know, I could scroll through my timeline and see you talking about, you know, your money thing, and, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that can just open me up, because that's motivation to me. You know, me seeing other people around me grow always makes my day better. And I always mention that because it's funny, because, you know, if you don't love yourself, you will never be happy for others.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you got to think, a lot of people that's not happy with themselves, they can never be happy for others, because they're mad at themselves for not being or not being who they want themselves to be, or not being where they want themselves to be, and they will never ever, you know, have it in them to feel that way about other people, because they don't even feel that way about themselves.
Right. And I also, and I'm glad you brought that up, is because it's so crazy that you know, people really can't genuinely be excited for other people, right? And it goes back to conditioning, because we've been conditioned to compete for so long, right? You know,
Right.
we, like in school, you know, valedictorian, salutatory, everything was a competition to be number one at this, to be even sports. We wanted to be the starters. You know, we didn't want to. No one wants to come off the bench. Everyone wants to play, and I get it. The competition is necessary, but we also have to zone in or own, basically, our own performance. Because
Right.
one quote that I've heard that I believe, it says, we are all self-made, but only the successful will admit it. You see what I'm saying? Those who are not doing so well, they're not going to say I'm self-made. They're going to make an excuse. They're going to blame someone else. It's my mama's fault. It's my daddy's fault. It's my girlfriend's fault. You know, it's this person's fault that I'm doing this. But those millionaires basically say, what? I'm self-made, right? But we all are. We're all in a position because of certain decisions we've made, good or bad. And the crazy part that I tell everybody is that, hey, if you woke up and you have 2 feet on solid ground, you have the ability to start over, right?
Absolutely.
You have the ability to have another refresher. Just because yesterday you wanted to be a firefighter, today you could be a policeman. You know, you have the right and abilities to do that. And I want people to know, like, hey, it's okay. But going into kind of our last conversation, the only way you really can get to the next level is having the right people around you, you know. And I tell people all the time, when people say no new friends, right? I say that sometimes that's the problem, because some of these A1s from day ones got us still stuck at day one. You see what I'm saying? And we can't progress. So in a lot of cases, like our relationship, like, shoot, I mean, we don't talk every day, but at the same time, that energy, that love, that brotherhood, you know, has not only started years ago, but it's evolved. You know, that's the thing. Like, I feel like we've both grown as men, as fathers, you know, as soon to be husbands. I'm gonna speak that into your life as well. Hopefully she can hear me. No, you know, but right. But the things that we got to next and that we're going to, bro, is crazy. And so many people look at, I'm pretty sure you and me, to say, hey, I miss the old Dustin. I miss the Dustin that used to, you know, rip and run the streets with us, you know, and be reckless with us. And now you want to be positive, you know, and I want you to help people, you know, who sometimes mentally can't handle that. You know, they want to still be, hey, I still want to be same old Trav or same old, because I want people to like me, right? So tell me, how do you deal with certain situations where, you know, like I said, you don't want to fit in, but you're okay in your own skin, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, any situation that I get into, I gotta make sure it won't put me in a situation that I can't get myself out of. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
And with people that you know, people that want to see you down and want to see you stuck and not growing and not, you know, you got to get them an option. You got to get them an opportunity to, you know, you got to get them an opportunity to see where you're coming from, help them understand where you're going, get them to realize that, you know, you're taking life in a certain direction. And if it correlates with you, awesome, because y'all both growing. But if it doesn't, you got to do what you got to do to shake them off. And it's nothing personal, you know, but you just learn how, like we talked about, self-love. You learn how to love yourself a little more than the person you was the day before. Because if you're the same person you was the day before, then you've wasted 24 hours. See, self-love comes with self-growth, you know, and a lot of people aren't willing to grow within self because they don't love themselves the way they portray the portray. See, anybody can love themselves around people that appear to be beneath them.
Right.
Because
okay.
those people will look up to them, praise them. Oh, and that gets a person complacent. But a person, the realest person, is a person that can love himself around people that has a lot more than him. And he could look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm glad these people are around me because they're showing me where I could be and where I should be. These people aren't around me for no reason. These people aren't putting things in front of me for no reason. And you just got to go with it, man. You just got to go with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man. A lot of people, I said a lot of people in my life, man, just, I see them in passing, and they used to be people I speak with or talk to every day, or
right.
we were doing the same things that they was doing when we was rocking. And I no longer have that lifestyle. I no longer, you know, live in that world. And now they looking down on me because like I'm doing something wrong, or I'm crazy, or I got something with me. But at the end of the day, I just love myself a little more than you do. That's
right. It. Exactly. And I like that you brought that up because one thing, like I said, I've heard, was listened to a reading, is basically if the people you hang around impact you the most, you start thinking like they think, you start, you know, doing like they do. So if you're around 9 negative Nancys, you're sure to be the 10th, right? Because that just rubs off on you. Just like if you got a bowl of fruit, right? Say you got some peaches. I saw this. If one of the fruits go bad, guess what? It starts to spread to all of them. That bacteria and fungus starts to spread to all of them. So if your circle doesn't reflect your future, then where are you going, right? Sometimes you got to go beyond, you know, your past to say, hey, yes, that used to be me. But guess what? I'm evolving. I'm moving forward. So now the people around me actually make me uncomfortable. Like you said, they don't make me comfortable. They make me uncomfortable. I hang around people who have seen, bro, I got a cat I talk to probably once a week, my mentor, right? Clive Johnson. He might be your cousin, man. I got to introduce y'all. But him and his wife have been entrepreneurs, and they do about $15,000 to $20,000 per month, right? And think about that, like that'll make an average person uncomfortable because they like, nah, I don't believe it, because so many people you know, see people who only make 40 to 60K a year, right? Shoot, I've shaken hands with cats that make $1 million every 45 days. I said, that's crazy, right? But it makes me uncomfortable. And I think also dealing with depression or different things, sometimes it's like I said, you just got to tell them it's okay, right? And I know it's hard to deliver or sometimes to talk to people about what you're going through, but something that me and Dustin wanted to start, here right now, and I see a lot of people online as well, saying great discussion from Emmanuel. Who else up here? Wooten up here.
What up, Jay?
J Lab up here. Mm-hmm. Kimrick up here. But adding to the topic is that I want to take men to another level when it comes to men and mental health. So we are starting a forum right now. So if this is something that you're listening to live or probably watching this recording on YouTube later on, please reach out because we want to make it okay to talk about this stuff, right? As you can see here, it's beautiful to see, your son really, how he just laid up on you. Like, I can't wait till my kid get that older just to be right here, because that's basically what we need as men, right? As men, as fathers, we need to be there for our children and basically show them that, hey, I love you. I care about you. It's okay to tell your brother or your best friend that you love them, right? Because you care about them. As men, we're so used to being, oh man, I can't cry. I can't be emotional because if I'm emotional, I'm soft. Or I'm labeled as less than or female like. But if I'm aggressive, it's like, oh man, you got issues, right? So it's almost you can't be anything type situation, right? So in certain cases, we need to be able to come to a place and have a discussion. And me and Dustin right now say, hey, we just want to have a discussion. We want to start the discussion, right? So with that being said, plug, man, wait till, we're going to get some mental health gear out. We're going to rock it, in plain sight. So people who may be dealing with depression might see it and say, hey, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to not be okay, And the next thing that I wanted to talk about, just going back to it, is how in the right mindset you say, how can I do the best for me when my family seem to be against me, right? And I think this is probably one of the toughest situations because we can't change our family, period. That's blood. Like, I can't change them at all. But what I do understand is that you can change how you deal with them, though. So has there been a situation where a family member, it could be close, could be a close friend, where you had to say, hey, man, what's best for me right now is to protect my energy, and I got to make a change. Can you tell me about a situation like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I could go down the line. It's been a lot of situations. People, because sometimes, I hold people that's not blood relatives like a family member. You know what I'm saying? It's just been a lot, man. I mean, a lot of times, here recently, going out my way for certain people that doesn't do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And then, them wanting you to sacrifice yourself, your self-growth, your self-love for just a moment for themselves, and they're not even being considerate of where you're going and what you're trying to do. It's just almost like it's about them and yours, you know what I'm saying? And I'm an energy dude, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not stupid. I feel energy. And when a person energy isn't where it's supposed to be around myself, I don't identify it right to them. I don't come to them. I try to get them, words of wisdom. I try to, keep good energy around them. But at the same time, if the energy isn't where it's supposed to be, I try to channel it. I try to help them channel it to where it should. But if they don't want to get there, they don't want to get there. Some people just refuse to level up with your energy because it makes them look bad. They don't want to appear to be behind you. They don't want to appear to feel like, you have one up on them or, you're a step ahead of them. But it's not about that, though. It's about us, loving each other and being happy for one another and, you know, giving each other the positive energy for both of us to do good and what we both want to do. And it might be different sometimes in different worlds, but like what you do, you the best at what you do. You know, you do your webinars and, you know, your money finances and all that good stuff. I'm not there with it. And I'm not gonna sit back and be like, yo, man, Dirk ain't this, Dirk ain't that. Oh, that shit whack, because I don't have knowledge of it. I'm gonna be like, bro, I'm proud of you, man. I'm gonna get on that jump, and we gonna link, and we gonna really do that one day, and big you up on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people see, oh, Dustin doing this, oh, he work out this, or he ain't, you know, like, just, you don't gotta do exactly what I do, but respect that I got stuff going and I put work in to get where I'm going. Don't slow me down. You know, don't hinder me from growing because you refuse to grow. Don't use my loyalty against me because you're not the same, you don't have the same type of loyalty. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes disrespectful, but at the same time, sometimes you give people a rope and they hang themselves. And once they hang themselves, you know, you move along, man. You move on with life. You know, it's been plenty of family members, bro. Like, it's been plenty of family members, man. You know, I mean, not even trying to be funny, but, you know, me and my pops had a few words a few times because he didn't understand where I was going. He didn't understand my vision because I didn't sit down and tell it to him. I didn't sit down and talk about it to him. But then when he sees, you know, the man that I've become, he sees the character that I've built, you know, through doing things the way I'm doing things, he respects me a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. One thing also I know is that everybody is not going to see eye to eye with you because, you know, they don't have your vision, right? Your goals are for you. Your talents were given to you by the man upstairs to say, hey, I did this just for Dustin, right? This is your thing, right? I did this just for Travis. This is your thing. Or I did this just for Jamal. I did this just for Dwayne. I did this just for Emmanuel. Everyone on this line right now has a talent, right, that they just need to dig deep into and figure out, hey, what is my true purpose? What is it that I love to do? What does it truly make me happy? And a lot of times what I can say, and I appreciate you for, is because you've always done that. You've been consistent with love, like genuine. You know, hey, bro, I see, you know, I know we ain't talked in a minute, man. Your video just got me hyped, like you just said, you know, and vice versa, right? I know there's big things you about to do for your community. And I know it's unfortunate, you know, things that are going to be against you. But if there's nothing against you, then that means, guess what? It ain't worth it anyway. You know, the struggle is what makes the progress in the victory just so sweet, right? And
Absolutely.
And for a lot of people who going through, like I said, so much and feel like they can't talk to anybody, is because you just haven't found the right circle, right? And one thing that I've done and I consistently do now is my posts, I 99.9% of my posts, I like to remain positive. The only time I would say something negative or address a negative situation, because so many people ask me, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? It's because I don't give negativity any type of energy, right? People tell me, I mean, people post online all the time, bruh, F this, F that. And I was like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate it. I thank you for the feedback, because I'm moving forward. Like, you know, what Jay-Z said, he said, yo, you don't argue with fools. You know what I'm saying? Because we say in the room, you can't tell who's who. You see what I'm saying? So you got to just make sure you're around the right people. And so many people have a fear of loss, right? I don't want to lose my friends since kindergarten. I don't want to lose this family member's support in a certain way. But in order to win, sometimes you got to take losses, right? Because that's all life is about. Meek Mill, I think his album was called Wins and Losses, because that's all life is about. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. The object is to make sure you win more than you lose. And when you do take an L, guess what? It's not a loss, it's a lesson. You're supposed to learn from these things. Write it down, right? Write it down. Like, what's his name? Jeff Bezos, Amazon, right? He's the richest man in the world right now. But in 2000, when he started, in the early 2000s, his mom even told him, hey, you can't do that. It's not going to work out, right? Now he's a billionaire. I don't even know how much money he makes.
And don't even pay taxes.
And because people don't know the rules of the game, but that's another story, right? You see what I'm saying? But you got to make sure your people around you is A1. If you look at your phone right now and the last 5 people that you've talked to or text are not somebody who add value to you, then you need to just start deleting, right? It's a SOS. It's a season of separation. And for you to mentally go to the next level, right, you got to do a few other things too. I want to talk about this book right here, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, right? This book right here, actually got from my job, right? And basically what it really talks about is how to deal with certain situations, right? When things aren't going your way, because when things are going your way, it's easy, right? When things are perfect, it's easy. But when obstacles come, right? People say, hey, I don't think I can do this, or I don't think I can. So many, our self-talk, the things that we say to ourselves harm us really the most, right? When we wake up in the morning and say, man, I don't want to, or first thing we do is look at Facebook and see this person fighting, or this person got killed, or this person, talking about drugs. We see so much negativity, when if we wake up every morning in the first 30 minutes, we can say to ourselves, hey, today is going to be a great day. Guess what? In that first 30 minutes, guess what? The spirit of your day ends up becoming what you spoke, right? But if you say, hey, this is so much negativity, if you see negativity, or I don't want to go to work, I don't want to deal with this. Once you get to work, you're going to see something you're not going to want to deal with, right? So it's all about self-talk. So thoughts are things, right?
Right.
So tell the people, before we wrap this up, man, because we're getting a lot of love right now. Appreciate you, Eddie, right now. But we want to close them out with something, right? So anybody right now that you may know dealing with depression, maybe having some negative thoughts about who they are, they don't feel valued, give them something right now to let them know that it's okay to not be okay.
First and foremost, it's crazy because being a person that I am, I have multiple people who confide in me every day and just be like, yo, it's crazy you say that, bro. I picked one of my homeboys up today, I'm gonna protect his identity. But he was going through some stages of depression, he has been dealing with it. And we talked and we, about certain things. And he called me early in the week and I was training a client in the gym, and he was just like, yo, I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to talk to you. A lot of people call me just to kind of get some good energy because that's what I give off. And came over here today, sat down and did some things. He had a dope business plan that we're going to try to get the ball rolling with. It's dope. And we're going to talk about that too. That's the subject for another story. But he basically just came over here, kind of subtle, but a little down. But when he left, he was hyped. And we had a deep little conversation. And as we talked, the sun was coming up from the rain. You know what I'm saying? The sun was coming up. And I said, bro, you see the conversation we have? You see the sun coming up? I said, that's God talking to us, letting us know that it can't rain forever. Like hard times don't last forever. Hard people do. You know what I'm saying? And some people, we feel sorry for ourselves. Like, my advice to a lot of people, don't feel sorry for yourself in no situation. Make the best out of everything you got. Like, I was raised, my father raised me. Look, if you make burgers in McDonald's, that McDouble with cheese better be the best McDouble with cheese at any McDonald's ever. And when you make the best out of the little things that you do have, then that's when the big things will come. But we look at other people, a la social media, oh, they got this. Oh, how this person got, we size them up based upon what we think we know about them or how we feel like what they deserve. And we don't know the work they put in. We don't know the things that they did to set themselves up to go where they need to go. We don't know none of that. We just so worried about not being there ourselves that we start feeling bad. Some people even had a notion, oh, I rob him, or I do this to that. Why you feel that angry towards that person? Because they have something that you want. If that's the case, work hard to get there. make the sacrifices you need to get there. It's like a person saying, yo, man, this not no not. You know, some people aren't in position to smoke and to do certain things. If you don't have a job, if you don't have no income, if you don't have the best situation, but you're sitting around and you smoking and you drinking and you chilling and you hanging all day, you just complaining. You ain't doing nothing to help your situation. You got to look at the things around you, you know, and the people around you. Is this person gonna pull on my leg, or is this person gonna give me a boost? You know what I'm saying? Is this person a taker or a maker? Is they gonna make it happen, or they gonna take it from me making it happen? You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, I can't be around people that don't have a strong sense of urgency. You know, that's not willing to progress, because you know, you don't have to necessarily be where I'm at doing certain things that I'm doing, but you could be progressing in your own world and doing what you're doing on a level to where, you know what I'm saying, you growing too.
Right.
And if I don't get that up off you, you know, I could have a little time for you, but it can't be consistent, because, you know, it's always a phrase that I live by. It's watch your words, watch your thoughts, because they become your words. Watch your words, because they become your actions. Watch your actions, because it could be your life.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
the
that's
actions
deep right
become
there.
your character, and that character could be your life, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just encourage everybody to stay positive no matter what, and be happy for everybody around them no matter what. And if it's anything that you're dealing with that you might have fell short, because I don't like to use the word, you know, failure or what other word I want to use? I mean, loss is okay, but failure, I don't like the word failure, because even when you fall short of something, you still gain. You still win, because you take those small battles in that fight and you take that to the next battle. So you didn't fail, you know, you fell short. You know what I'm saying? Like, failure, okay, it's not an option, because even when I fall short of something, I'm going to get back up and get to where I need to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the man frame I have, you know. Some people perceive things differently, but that's how I view life.
Oh, and that's important, man, because and way to really close us out, man, because like I said, you're right, man. Your thoughts are things, right? So if you never read the book Think and Grow Rich, you know, that's I say definitely go get that. But it's good to just be able to be open, right? You know, and one thing that Serena Williams has said, you know, of course, being a champion of 23 Grand Slams, you know, African-American woman taking over the tennis game when it was, you know, of course, ran by a predominantly white community, of course. But what she said is that a champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall, right? And I want everybody to know, if you're on this line, you are a champion, right? You have greatness within you, right? You are somebody of value, right? And as Dustin said, and I don't like to use the term loser either, is there people that win and people who just don't know how to win yet, okay? And that's basically how we're going to close this out. We did it again. This is going to be something moving forward. What we trying to be right now is your MCMs. I'm going to let them on that. What we mean by we want to be your MCM, we're not talking about Man Crush Monday. We are men crushing mental health, and that's what we're doing in 2019. So I want to tell everybody, I want to see everybody at the top, because the bottom is way too crowded.
For real.